Hi guys, so I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, going deep into the different attachment styles. So as we know, relationships pretty much determine the happiness of our lives. If things are going well with our friendships, at work, and of course in our love life, life is great. If we're fighting with people, if there's drama, if there's craziness, if there's constant, belittling or any type of toxic energy, we all know that is going to make life miserable. So I've actually delved into the studies of attachment styles. So I am not a psychologist. I took a few courses in college. I have a minor in psychology. Not saying that's a big deal or anything. It's just something I've always been interested in. I wanted to be a therapist for a while. I just did not want to go to get a master's and just do more schooling. I just wanted to get out of college and start working. So I knew that with psychology, you kind of have to go on to higher education to work in that field. So you can't just have a bachelor's degree. So I decided that I would ultimately just read like this Google Scholars in my free time and read a bunch of psychology books. You can ask my parents and my friends that I read way too many self-help / psychology books. That's like the only books I really read. And I've just always had an interest in relationships and how they work and what makes a healthy relationship and what makes an unhealthy relationship, what makes people stay in unhealthy relationships, and what tools are needed to make a relationship work. So I decided on my own journey to kind of find out, and based off of my research, years of research, is that the number one thing that determines success in relationships is attachment styles. So I actually took notes for this video because this is a serious thing. It really can be very detrimental for a person's mental health. I've seen many people this has happened to me, happy-go-lucky, everything going for them. No one understands why they're sad, and it's all because of a relationship that is not benefiting them, and they can't figure out why they're in this. They can't get out. We've all seen like CEOs, head of companies, the highest of the high people that are respected, that just love just takes them right out. So if they knew more about this, maybe they could avoid it from the get-go instead of being involved with people that are not necessarily narcissists / psychopaths, which is a lot of the online community. It's just they have a mismatched attachment style. So that was a really long intro, but I'm just going to jump right into it. So basic overview. There are 3 attachment styles. Okay, there's there's secure, which is 50% and plus of the population. There is avoidant, and there is anxious. So there is avoidant, anxious, and secure. Those are 3 attachment styles. Underneath those attachment styles, there are more subcategories that I'm not going to go into this video because this is a broad overview, kind of like an intro. But as of right now, just remember that there's avoidant, there's anxious, and there's secure. And the large majority of people in this world are secure, 50% up. They can't really get an accurate number, but it seems like based off of studies, it's a majority of the population. So yeah. So a little history is that attachment styles were discovered by Mary Ainsworth's study with babies. And she basically had 3 moms, or I think she had a bunch of moms, but she basically put babies in a room playing with a toy. And then she witnessed as how they reacted to their mom coming into the room. So a secure baby would be happy to see their mom in the room and just continue playing with the toy, probably giggle, want the mom's attention. So that was kind of the secure baby. This is a really broad overview. And the avoidant baby actually would not look at the mother and pretend that she was not there. So that's an avoidant baby. And then there is the anxious baby, which is the baby that immediately dropped the toy and was started crying and felt like mom was gone for like 5 years. So she was gone for like 10 minutes, constantly crying. So that is kind of a really broad overview. She discovered that each baby acted differently. And I think she traced it back into adulthood, and she realized that the way they acted as babies is how they acted towards their love partners as they grew up. So not much changed at all. So how we kind of, I guess within our growth or our, there's so much myelin sheath going on in our brain that we're learning, that time period, it's called the critical period. In the critical period is when a lot of things are imprinted on us that really therapy can change, but it's like imprinted in our brains to act a certain way. So unless you go to intensive therapy, this is probably how you're going to be, because that's when our brain is like really growing really fast. So you know how it's easier to learn a language when you're under 5 years old than it is when you're, 10 plus. I think after 7 years old, it's a lot harder, but under 7, it's like easy. It's just when you're a child, it's so much easier to learn things. And she discovered that you actually learn how to love when you're a baby. So this is something that was groundbreaking at the time, and there's a lot of history behind it. But that study really opened up people's eyes to the fact that your childhood really determines your future when it comes to attachment. So basically love, quote unquote, love is attachment. And we need attachment for survival. So because we are animals, we're pack animals, a person walking alone is probably more likely to be attacked by another, tribe or be killed by a tiger than someone walking with a group of people. That's why when people are exiled or fired or anything, it's not that they might not even like the job. It's just the feeling of not being a part of a group that is very scary. And this is something that's ingrained in our brain. And this is something that is biological, and it's for survival, because at the end of the day, we are animals and our goal is to survive, hopefully thrive. But if we cannot thrive if we are dead. So that's why attachment that's wired in our brain. So I'm going to go back to my notes here. So back to attachment style. So the dating pool is mostly avoidance. That's not good, because secure people tend to get into relationships and stay in them. I'm not saying that there are no secure people in the dating pool, but a majority of the dating pool are avoidance. So that is why people are constantly complaining or, hate dating, because the people in the dating pool do tend to have the avoidant attachment style, because avoidant people are looking for the perfect person, and they are most concerned with keeping their independence. And relationships are more about interdependence than they are about independence. That's another video. I'm going to go into interdependence versus codependency versus American culture, and how American culture glorifies independence over everything, and that's not really how love works. So yeah, I'm just saying that is probably why there's such a large divorce rate, is due to the fact that our culture is kind of against interdependence and really kind of what it takes to make a relationship work, which is like sacrifice, going through hard times, and really kind of putting the other person first sometimes if required, but that's a separate video. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So dating pools mostly avoidance because they tend to get in and out of relationships. It doesn't really bother them too much. And as I said, they are on the quest for a perfect person, and they will tend to discard somebody. Basically, for example, let's say Jake, let's pretend person. There's a guy named Jake and he's dating a girl named Emily. And as he gets to know her, he discovers that she is scared to, I don't know, she's not best with her finances, okay? So she'll spend like way too much money on clothes and makeup and stuff like that. She's a really nice girl, treats him well, family loves her, he likes her, but he will tend to kind of discard her as in hopes for finding a perfect person and kind of write her off. So that's kind of why a lot of people in the dating pool are avoidance, because they are, you know, they find something wrong with a person and they kind of fixate on it. Okay. That's just one reason. Another reason is that they really are independent, and the secure people tend to push avoidance away. Well, they tend to dump them because they're like, this is not enough for me. And avoidance don't date other avoidance. That's actually been proven by science, that avoidance, they just don't date other avoidance because there's nothing that makes the relationship work. If they're both avoiding each other, then there's no relationship. That kind of proves it right there. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the secure person. So as I said, most people are secure. I have read that people that are secure can be pushed to be anxious. I think this is the category that I fall into. Overall, I'm a very secure person. I have dated a lot of avoidant people in the past, which is why I am making this video, because I want to help people to kind of avoid the pain that I've gone through, and I like to help people. So I will say that a lot of people say that secure people, you know, they can't be pushed to be anxious or do the stuff that anxious people do, but I can tell you that if you're not getting a certain level of security in a relationship, that can actually make you crazy. So if you've been called crazy or needy for asking for the basic level of human connection, you're probably with an avoidant, okay? So it has been proven that a secure person can be pushed to become anxious attachment style. So what happens here with secure people is that eventually they do click out of it. So they do get out of it. But there is, of course, the scarring that follows. And of course, they might get used to that up, down roller coaster ride that being with avoidant can provide. But if you're already coming from an anxious attachment style, which is not secure or avoidant, it is crucial that you vet the person that you're dating from the beginning. It is crucial that you take it extremely slow and try to find out their dating history, their family history, what their friends are like, what they tend to do on a daily basis, what's their life look like, and try your best to find out if they are actually looking for a serious relationship, and before you go into any type of intimate relationship with this person, okay? So, because what can happen with an anxious person is that you could get triggered easily, and you start to do a bunch of protest behaviors, such as calling many times, you know, just feeling like you're going crazy, might lose your job, might suffer at work, avoid all your friends, just, you know, feeling really just out of your mind, preoccupied thinking about this person. And when you're in that state of mind, triggered in that way, that's when you know that your needs are not being met. And that's probably when you're being called needy. And when they're ignoring you, which is basically what an avoidant is doing. I mean, we can go into a later video why they're doing this, but they're basically ignoring you. When that occurs, you're so preoccupied with the relationship that you don't see anything else in your life. Nothing else matters besides this person. And that can be very detrimental. But when they come back, you feel such a high that you're fine. You feel validated. You feel like, yes, they came back, because you had such a low, you're preoccupied with this person. They come back, oh, okay, I care about you, I like you, blah, blah, and they get you right back just like that, and you're on a high. So it's kind of like a drug. That's why it's called love addiction. Anxious people tend to suffer from love addiction. It's a real thing, because when you're withdrawing from love, feels like nothing can make you happy. You're preoccupied. It's all you think about. Your whole life can fall apart. And when they're back, you're so happy. Everything's great, blissful. You're back to normal, or euphoric even. So when a secure person does approach you and wants to have a relationship with you, you're just like, this is boring. Like, I'm bored. Like, where's the drama? Where's the up, down, you know, craziness? Like, I thought you like me all the time. Like, this is what? No, this is nuts. And that needs to be addressed, because this up down is not sustainable for a adult life. I mean, you're gonna drive yourself mad with a person like this. And basically, a relationship is a secure base. So just like your parents should have been a secure base for you to go and explore the world, you can go and explore, and then you come right back, know that they're there for you, okay? That's how a love relationship should be. It gives you strength to explore, because you know you have this person there for you just in case things go wrong, and you have like courage, because you have what's it called, like support. This person's supposed to be security and support for you, and your number one fan. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is, if you don't have that secure base, then the relationship is going to be like an up and down drug, and it's either going to destroy you or it's going to make you. And that's like why I'm making this video, because relationships, especially love relationships, can make you or they can destroy you. And a lot of people just walk through life not knowing who to pick, or just let anybody in. And I'm not saying anybody's evil or anything, but there's some people that are more compatible than others, okay? So this is kind of why modern dating advice is evil, in my opinion. I mean, if you think about it on a common sense level, they really don't benefit from people being in healthy, secure base relationships. They want people coming onto their channel, reading their book, going to seminars that are kind of suffering, and so they can give them advice that will make them continue to not be in a healthy relationship. Because if you solve the problem, then there is no money to be made, okay? So they kind of are saying, you know, play it cool in the beginning, you know, don't show too much interest, just don't be your true self, basically. Play games, stuff like that. And what's that doing is that is attracting the avoidance to you, and they're thinking, oh wow, this girl is perfect, like she doesn't really want anything, she doesn't want intimacy, she's not going to rely on me, which is healthy in a relationship, by the way. And once they do fall for you and you fall for them and you are in an actual relationship, that's when things start to fall apart, because that's when people's true colors show, and they start to see that that was just a mask you're wearing. So yeah, you might get someone into a relationship with you, by wearing a mask, but you can't keep someone in a relationship with you by wearing a mask. So that's why modern dating is evil, because they're showing people short-term tricks to keep people interested or to hook them. But at the end of the day, that's not going to work in the long term, and it's definitely not going to work for marriage. So yeah, basically I'm generalizing over. I'm going to go more thoroughly into the different attachment styles in other videos and why they became that way, how to deal with them, if they change, and if you're already in a relationship with someone who is that attachment style, can you make it work, and some tips. So, but not in this video. So basically what I'm trying to say is that secure people, when they start dating an avoidant person, they tend to leave them because they're not getting enough emotional connection. So if you're constantly chasing after someone, getting triggered many times, calling them all the time, you're probably not crazy. You probably are just not getting enough emotional connection that you're seeking, which does not make that other person evil. It's just a compatibility issue, and you have to go into it with a rational standpoint and say, is this person good for me? Like, at the end of the day, like, is this person good for you? And that's why it's good to have family and friends around, because they can say, this person is not serious. This person is not going to benefit your life. And I know it's so hard to listen, but they are thinking with a rational brain, and you're thinking with your emotional, animalistic, limbic brain. So, just saying. Can't read my own notes. But yeah, this was just my starter video. Please like and subscribe if you like it, and please leave a comment about your experiences. I know that we all have been through this, and we know that there's been times where we have felt absolutely crazy, or we have felt like just alone in this, but we're all humans, and this world has definitely made it actually, I believe, harder to find your mate due to online dating and just the toxic culture, American culture, that we are part of. Another thing is just the dating gurus or the dating coaches that are out there. You know, their business is to keep you single. So I'm just letting you know that the number one thing to focus on is attachment styles, and that will help you avoid a lot of heartache. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I love you guys, and please love yourself today.